Listen up. If you've ever been betrayed, if you've been cheated on, or feel that sickening suspicion rising in your gut, you've likely heard one of her go to excuses. It just happened. I didn't mean to hurt you. We were going through a rough patch. Let me be clear. These aren't confessions, they're psychological smoke bombs. They're crafted to twist the story, shift the blame, and make you question your worth. Before we dive in, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop your city in the comments. Let's see how many men are done being fooled and ready to reclaim their power. Excuse one, it just happened. This is perhaps the most infuriating, disingenuous, and universally deployed excuse in the cheater's playbook. She looks you in the eye, maybe with a few crocodile tears, and whispers, "I swear I don't know how it just happened." She wants you to believe that infidelity is akin to a sudden, uncontrollable urge like sneezing or an unforeseen natural disaster. She presents it as an accident, an unfortunate collision of circumstances entirely beyond her control. What it really means. Let's be clear, nothing just happens in the realm of infidelity. This line is a deliberate attempt to erase a series of very conscious, very intentional choices she made. It erases the moment she chose to flirt, to linger, to text back, to meet up, to escalate physical contact, to remove her clothes, to cross the line. It erases her personal agency and moral responsibility. Cheating is not a car accident. It's a progression of deliberate steps, each one a conscious decision to betray your trust. Excuse two, I didn't mean to hurt you. This one is designed to pull at your heartstrings, to make her sound remorseful, to portray her as a tragic figure who simply made a mistake. She might utter it with a trembling voice, a look of profound regret, trying to evoke your sympathy. She wants you to believe that the pain you're feeling was an unintended consequence, a regrettable side effect of her actions rather than an inherent outcome. What it really means. This excuse isn't about your pain, it's entirely about her guilt management. She knew deep down that her actions would inflict unimaginable pain upon you. She understood the inherent nature of betrayal. What she really didn't mean was for you to find out. She hoped to have her cake and eat it too, to indulge in her desires while keeping you in blissful ignorance. This line is a deflection, a desperate attempt to mitigate her own discomfort and avoid the full force of your anger and disappointment. Excuse three, you were emotionally distant. The classic blame shift. This is the foundation of what I call the neglect narrative. Instead of taking responsibility for her betrayal, she immediately pivots, framing her infidelity as a direct, almost justified reaction to your supposed failings. She will accuse you of being unavailable, cold, preoccupied, or unloving. What it really means, this is pure, unadulterated blame shifting. She's not owning her choice to betray your trust. She's reframing her infidelity as a mere reaction to your alleged shortcomings. Even if there were moments of distance or challenges in your relationship, and every relationship faces these, her choice to cheat was still hers alone. Excuse four, I was drunk. This is the age-old plea for leniency. The desperate attempt to outsource blame to an external factor. She'll tell you the alcohol loosened her inhibitions, clouded her judgment, or made her do things she never would have done sober. She wants you to believe that the betrayal was a temporary lapse in control, an isolated incident induced by intoxication rather than a reflection of her deeper character or desires. What it really means. While alcohol can certainly lower inhibitions, it fundamentally doesn't create new values or desires. What it does brutally is reveal the ones that are already buried inside. Alcohol might give a person the courage to act on impulses they otherwise suppress, but those impulses, those inclinations, were present long before she touched a drop. Cheating while drunk is still cheating. It's an act of betrayal, just with less impulse control and a convenient scapegoat. Excuse five, I felt alone. This is the masterstroke of wrapping selfishness in a cloak of vulnerability. She'll present herself as a pitiful figure, neglected and isolated, driven by desperate loneliness to seek solace elsewhere. She wants you to feel sympathy, to believe that her infidelity was a cry for help, a tragic consequence of her emotional deprivation. What it really means. When a woman says she felt alone, it almost always means she craved attention and validation, and rather than communicate that need directly, she actively went looking for it elsewhere. This excuse is a calculated manipulation designed to turn her blatant selfishness into a plea for pity. It aims to make her look like a victim of circumstances, a helpless soul reaching out for connection, when in reality, she made a conscious decision to seek external validation in a way that directly violated your trust. Excuse six, I needed to find myself. This excuse, my friend, is a true wolf in sheep's clothing. It sounds mature, introspective, and almost philosophical. She might utter it with a faraway look in her eyes, as if she's on a profound personal journey, and her affair was simply an unavoidable detour on the path to self-discovery. It makes her sound deep, complex, and deserving of your understanding, even your admiration for her quest for personal growth. What it really means, this is pure, unadulterated manipulation designed to achieve two goals simultaneously to gain freedom and to elicit your sympathy. When she says she needed to find herself, it's almost always a cover for emotional detachment and outright disloyalty. She's laying the groundwork to detach from the relationship, to feel less guilty about her actions, and to pursue her desires without facing the full weight of accountability. Let's be unequivocally clear, you do not find yourself in someone else's bed. You don't discover your true self by betraying the trust of the person who loves you. Excuse 7, we were fighting a lot. This excuse attempts to deflect blame by pointing to marital conflict, suggesting that the rocky state of your relationship somehow gave her a permission slip to cheat. She'll frame your arguments, your disagreements, or your periods of tension as the root cause of her infidelity, implying that the relationship itself was so fractured that her actions were an understandable, if regrettable, consequence. What it really means, this is a classic deflection strategy. While every relationship experiences conflict, disagreements, and rough patches, these are never ever justifications for infidelity. Conflict is an invitation to work harder, to communicate more effectively, or to ultimately decide to part ways with integrity. It is never under any circumstances a green light for betrayal. This excuse attempts to turn your shared struggles into her personal justification, making your relationship problems the reason for her disloyalty. Excuse 8, it didn't mean anything. This is often the final desperate attempt to minimize the damage and escape the full force of your justifiable anger. She'll look at you, perhaps with a placating tone, and insist that the infidelity was purely physical, a momentary lapse, or a meaningless encounter that held no emotional weight. She wants you to believe that because there were no feelings involved, the betrayal wasn't truly that bad, that it shouldn't impact your relationship in a significant way. What it really means, this excuse is designed to make you believe the betrayal wasn't as severe as it was, to dilute its impact so she doesn't have to deal with the devastating fallout. But the truth is profoundly different. Even meaningless sex can and often does destroy meaningful trust. Trust isn't built solely on emotional fidelity, it's built on loyalty, honesty, and shared commitment. If you've heard even one of these excuses, or a twisted combination of them, don't for a single second ignore their deeper, insidious meaning. Drop a comment below. Which of these excuses did she hit you with? Which one resonated most with your experience? Share your truth, because your words can be a powerful guide for other men navigating this same treacherous landscape. Hit that subscribe button if you're truly done falling for lies, if you're ready to protect yourself, and if you're prepared to rebuild your life with your eyes wide open. Because here we don't play the fool, we decode the game, we expose the truth, and we empower men to stand strong in their reality.